Good day, friends. This is Casey back again with Aligned Astrology. Today we're talking about the full moon in Leo. This full moon is culminating on February 1st. Depending on where you are in the world, I am on the East Coast. It's Eastern Standard Time here. So it will be February 1st for me. And I want to give you all some insight today on what this full moon can bring in our own experience. I always like to reiterate that we are the microcosm in this macrocosm. So, of course, these planets affect us all on a collective level at the same time. But we all live our own lives. We are individuals, and these planets affect us individually. Without each one of us, there would be no collective. So it's important to take ourselves into consideration and the others around us into consideration. That's what makes these planets have meaning and expression, how they move through our own personal lives. So this full moon in Leo happens during Aquarius season every year. And it's important to note that with a full moon in Leo, the sun, which is the ruler of Leo, is in complete opposition to its own home, its own domicile. The sun being in the sign of Aquarius, it takes on that humanitarian type of expression. We know Aquarius to be a community type of, I guess we could say, person, a community type of archetype that wants to connect with people, even willing to allow people to express themselves and Aquarius to take the back seat. Now, when we think about the sign of Leo, Leo is like the star of the show. That's what I prefer to call Leo, because Leo lets its light shine. And when Leo lets its light shine, it lights up the room. Leo can be very loud and boisterous and very characteristic in that nature. So it's important to notice what this full moon is bringing up for us individually. Now, it's also important to note that even if we don't have any planets in our Leo house in our astrology chart, I always like to mention that all 12 of these zodiac signs operate within us. They operate outside of us. So we, in turn, are a part of them and they are a part of us. We have all 12 zodiac signs inside of us. They express through us. So this particular Leo house in your chart is going to be affected this time. Maybe it's not as strong as someone else's who has planets in that sign, or if they have this sign of Leo in an angular house, being a fixed sign, a fixed rising sign in that case. But it's important to notice that with this full moon in Leo, we can begin to experience, on a positive note, some creative breakthrough or some opportunities to be courageous, to express ourselves, to be true to our heart. On a not so positive side, when we think about full moons as endings, we can begin to experience drama and challenge, emotional outbursts, even embarrassment, right? Because when Leo is not humble, not living from a state of humility, we can look at the pride of the lion. Leo can be very indulgent in pride and think that it knows best. It can be very stubborn as a fixed sign, the fixed fire sign in this case, stuck in its ways and not willing to change for anyone. Now, this in a sense can be positive if Leo's not willing to change for anyone in this case, because we have the sun in Aquarius, where the people matter more than the person, the self. So when the full moon comes into Leo, it's important for us to recognize the self, not just the one self we think we are, but the self that we can know we are, that genuine true self that comes through the expression of the heart. And how does one get in tune with the expression of the heart? In order to feel the heart, to follow the heart, to hear the heart, what we need to do is be still And if you watch my last video, the Neptune and Aries video, you've learned that intuition is very important for these next decade and a few years, because with Neptune moving into Aries, it's going to be a step by step, one foot after the other sort of experience that we'll be living. And in order to make sure we're walking in the right direction, we'll have to fall back into that heart space. So, what a great full moon to have right after Neptune entered into Aries. This full moon in Leo is inviting us to find courage in being ourselves, to be true to ourselves. So if we are not able to be real about who we are and what we want to achieve and how we want to be seen, everything's going to crumble in our experience and help us to make our way in that direction. Full moons are times of endings in that way. There are also times of new beginnings. By letting things go, we release things here in order to pick up something new and begin again. So I want to pull up the Zodiac chart for a moment so we can look together and see this full moon in the sign of Leo. Now we'll have the full moon in Leo at 13 degrees. Now I looked at the chart earlier to see what will be aspecting the moon outside of the sun. And if we look at the chart, we'll see here that there are no planets in direct aspect to the moon. Of course, we have this stellium of planets all around the sun, but there is no planet currently in a 3-degree orb range with the sun. So this is a party between the sun and moon. It's a dance. And when we think about the full moon in Leo, once again, this is bringing us back to ourself, back to our truth, and putting us on the stage for all to see. So the question that we can ask ourselves is, am I really being me? Am I being my true self? Because if we're not, it's going to be exposed. It's going to be shown to all that are watching. And when the full moon's in Leo, when we want to do something, depending on where it is in our own astrology, people are going to be watching. I'm going to take the chart away, and then I'm going to share some points with you all that we can follow along together and take some notes or journal so that we have something to follow with this full moon, something to look back on. So I ask you the question, what is it that this full moon can bring on as an ending if we've been enduring hardship and are not careful? Now this is for us who have been experiencing something difficult a little bit lately and going through emotional hardships and challenging times. We have the possibility of experiencing emotional outbursts because, like I said earlier, Leo can be very dramatic from time to time, as it is a great actor. And that makes Leo like the star of the show. So when Leo becomes dramatic and boisterous, everybody watches, right? So those emotional outbursts can create experiences of embarrassment, like I spoke about. And it's important to note that when these things come up, there's no mask. That's the truth that Leo's living right now. So this can be seen as a false truth, and that's not what we want here. So it's an opportunity to see that if that's been coming up, we can acknowledge that and then make a different decision. When we're unaware, when we're asleep or ignorant to something, it just happens to us. But when we have awareness, we can act differently. Another thing that can happen as an ending from enduring hardship if we're not careful is burnout. Burnout from performing or acting too consistently. And what I mean by that is putting on a mask, letting other people see something that's not real. And when Leo does this, the energy of Leo does this, it's not following its heart. It's not understanding what it needs to be for itself, so it's not shining. And that's what Leo does best. Simply by being itself, it shines. A third thing that we can be mindful of is the indulgence of pride. I like to think about the pride of lions. That's literally what you call a pack of lions, right? The pride of lions. And when we understand pride, it can be seen as a very challenging ego for people, where they feel like they know best and their way is the right way. And what pride does is it blinds us. So it's important to be mindful that of the fact that sometimes we experience that. And if we are experiencing that, we need to find awareness and let that go. And in order to overcome the ego of pride, we must learn humility. Humility is not bowing down to the next person, but it is honoring the next person and being mindful that our way may not be the right way. Who knows? It's important for us to learn from everyone, to experience everyone in order to gain wisdom. Humility breeds wisdom. So we don't want to indulge in this pride, because it can also lead us towards those embarrassing situations that have potential to blossom if we're not careful when we move towards our emotional outbursts. I think that it's important for us to be mindful that with this full moon in the sign of Leo, with the sun in Aquarius, community is big right now. So there may be an opportunity for us to see ourselves in community and notice how we fit or how we don't fit. Maybe it's time to leave a community, or maybe it's time to express ourselves more to really benefit the community. It all depends on our own personal strategy. Now we can talk on a more positive note on what this full moon can bring as a new beginning if we've been listening to our heart, following the guidance of our heart space. We can really begin to understand our own personal truth and express it through our life as an embodiment. And we all have that same potential. Once again, even if we're not a Leo sun or have any placements of Leo at all, there's that part of our life where we express ourselves and people are drawn to it like mosquitoes to a light, you know? There's a way of being that comes natural to us that this full moon is going to show us that we have the potential to move towards, to genuinely become. Another point is the courage that we have to be honest with ourselves and to genuinely be ourselves around the people that we've been surrounded with in these last couple weeks. Being in Aquarius season, that's what it is right now. We're understanding the importance of community, and we get to see ourselves now. We get to see if we've been putting on a mask, and now is the opportunity to either take that mask off or be discovered for wearing a mask. It's your choice. So this is an opportunity for us to show ourselves in the world. Our last point is the fact that we can reach creative breakthroughs with this as a new beginning, because Leo is a creative, you know? Like, I go back to the acting thing, where Leo's expression is creativity in itself. So this full moon, this culmination point, is bringing us an opportunity to simply be ourselves, to come into alignment with our heart space and create the will within ourselves to naturally create. Maybe this full moon brings something up for us, a eureka moment in the mind that lets us know this is what I need to do. This is the direction that I know I need to go in, and it'll give us just a burst of optimism in that direction. I think that it's important to mention that right now we have Jupiter in the sign of Cancer, but when we move into summertime, moving from June to July, we'll begin to experience Jupiter moving into the sign of Leo. So when Jupiter moves into Leo, it's going to continue to expand that part of our life. So maybe this is an opportunity for us to begin working towards that, preparing for that Jupiter ingress into the sign of Leo, wherever that lands in our own particular chart. And maybe we'll do some horoscopes on this as well, so we can look at all 12 zodiac signs. But for now, that's going to bring this video to an end. I just want to leave you with that question that I posed a bit earlier in regards to this full moon in Leo. We can ask ourselves, am I being my genuine self? Am I sharing that genuine self with the people around me? And if not, what's stopping me? Thanks so much for being here, friends. If you liked the video, please remember to like. Please subscribe, as it helps this channel to grow, helps more people to see it, and helps me keep bringing wonderful content for the people of you who enjoy. My name is Casey once again, and this is Aligned Astrology. Until the next time,